My name is Churl, a 33-year-old writer who hit it big with my first mystery novel. It's been a whirlwind since then, but I try to keep a balance between my career and family. I've been married to my husband, Thomas, for 8 years, and we have a 7-year-old son named Gary. At first, Thomas had a job, but a few years ago, when my writing career took off, he decided to quit. He stayed home to support me while I worked, though he sometimes spent his free time at the casino, playing slot machines. Recently, however, I've been facing a situation that's been eating away at me. Thomas has been having an affair and using my credit card to buy lavish gifts for his mistress. I've tried to ignore it for Gary's sake, but now, it's become too much to bear. One morning, Thomas dressed in a suit, which struck me as odd since he wasn't employed. I asked about it, and he seemed caught off guard before claiming he was going for a job interview and might start contributing to our finances again. I wished him luck, hoping it was a sign of a positive change, but when he came home at 2 a.m., I couldn't ignore the doubt creeping in. That night, as I worked late on a writing deadline, I heard him stumble in around midnight. The smell of alcohol and perfume hung heavily in the air as he collapsed on the sofa. His phone lay beside him, unlocked. Suspicion flooded my thoughts, and I couldn't help myself. I checked his phone. The texts shattered me. It confirmed everything I feared. Thomas was having an affair. The worst part? His lover was Gloria, one of my closest friends. The messages detailed a dinner date at an upscale restaurant with a breathtaking view, something Thomas had never done for me. I was overwhelmed with betrayal, tears blurring my vision as I processed that 2 people I trusted had lied to me. Gloria, who was married herself, had always been my confidant. In a haze of anger and pain, I quickly forwarded the incriminating messages to my phone, knowing I'd need time to think through what to do next. The following morning, Thomas acted as though nothing had changed. I casually approached him. So, about yesterday, you mentioned a job interview but came home really late. What happened? He shifted uncomfortably, avoiding my gaze. I ran into a friend after the interview, and we had a drink. He mumbled. A friend? Someone I don't know? I pressed, already knowing the answer. I don't have to explain myself, he snapped. Right, I replied, feeling a mix of frustration and resignation. His evasiveness only confirmed what I'd feared. The affair was ongoing. A month had passed since I discovered Thomas's betrayal, and I was still lost on what to do. Confronting him could destroy everything, but the thought of staying in this toxic situation for Gary's sake made me feel trapped. If the circumstances were different, I might have shown him the evidence and filed for divorce by now, but I couldn't bring myself to break our son's heart. Meanwhile, Thomas seemed to be taking advantage of my busy schedule. While I worked long hours, he started disappearing more often. It stung, but it also gave me an opportunity to gather more evidence. One afternoon, I searched through his things and found receipts for luxury items, a necklace, a handbag, and other gifts. None of these had come my way, and it was clear he was buying them for Gloria. What confused me was how he could afford it. He had no job and was living off my earnings, so where was the extra money coming from? I needed answers. I decided to follow him, but first, I needed someone to look after Gary. I called my brother, who had no idea what was going on. I'm sorry to call you on short notice, I said when he arrived. It's fine, he replied, but you sounded strange. Why do you suddenly want me to watch Gary? I need to pick something up, I explained, fabricating a story. Something? You never go out shopping. You're always online, he said, sounding doubtful. I know, I responded, guilt gnawing at me for lying, but I needed to get to the bottom of this. I had to protect my family and uncover the full truth of Thomas's deception. So, early one morning, with my heart heavy and doubts clouding my mind, I asked my brother to watch Gary again. I need to grab something from a store today, I said casually. Could you keep an eye on Gary for a bit? I kept my tone light, hoping he wouldn't sense my anxiety. I needed to leave the house, of course, but I made sure to return as soon as possible. Okay, but don't stay out too long. Gary might start missing you, my brother said, concern evident in his voice. Thanks so much, I replied, truly grateful despite the storm raging inside me. With my brother watching over Gary, I was free to uncover the truth about Thomas. Blending into the crowd, I followed him at a safe distance, my heart pounding with each step. The further he walked, the deeper my dread grew. Then, my worst fears came to life before my eyes. Thomas strolled into an upscale boutique, his arm wrapped around Gloria's waist. They laughed, their connection undeniable. It was a painful sight, seeing the man I had once loved so intimately entwined with someone I had trusted. Hidden behind a display, I watched as they browsed through expensive items. Thomas selected a few, then casually handed his credit card to the cashier. My breath hitched. I knew that card. It was the emergency card from the back of my drawer, the one I rarely used. Realization hit me like a tidal wave. While I had been consumed by deadlines and writing, he had been siphoning my money, blending his deceitful spending into my legitimate work expenses. I had missed the red flags, the mounting charges, the subtle shifts in our finances. This wasn't just betrayal, it was theft. Whatever lingering affection I had for Thomas disintegrated in that moment. I had given him my trust, my love, my financial security, and he had torn it all apart without remorse. With quiet determination, I snapped a few discreet photos before slipping away. The days that followed were spent gathering more evidence and devising a plan. I searched his computer, which was synced to his phone, and what I found was worse than I had imagined. Messages, hotel bookings, plans for a 6-day getaway with Gloria over the upcoming holiday. A plan formed in my mind. I wouldn't confront him while he was here. No, I'd wait until he left, then I'd leave, too. But I had to be careful, especially for Gary's sake. I turned to my brother once more. I hate to ask, but could you watch Gary over the holiday? I asked, keeping my tone light. The whole 6 days? He gave me a skeptical look. Yeah, I have something important to take care of, I said, trying to sound nonchalant. My brother studied me for a moment before speaking. Churl, you don't have to do this alone. His words caught me off guard. What do you mean? I asked cautiously. He sighed. Thomas is cheating, isn't he? My stomach dropped. How did you? I heard it from Gary. A cold dread washed over me. Gary knew. Somehow, despite being just a child, he had sensed the shift, had noticed his father's affection straying to another woman. My brother's words were a painful reminder that children pick up on more than we realize. I had thought I was shielding Gary from the truth, but I had only left him to make sense of it on his own. Why? My brother pressed gently. Why are you still putting up with this? Even Gary can tell something's wrong. Are you really considering staying with him? Before I could respond, a small voice cut through the room. It's okay, Mom, I'm on your side. I turned to see Gary standing there, his young face serious. I don't want anyone who makes you sad, he said firmly. As long as I have you, I'm fine. Tears burned my eyes. Thank you, sweetheart, I whispered, pulling him into a hug. Then I turned to my brother. And thank you, too. With their support, I knew what I had to do. The days leading up to Thomas's trip were spent quietly packing. My brother helped me move things little by little, ensuring everything was ready. Gary, young but perceptive, helped in his own way, never once questioning our escape. Then, the night before Thomas was set to leave, I confronted him. I found him in our bedroom, packing a suitcase. Going somewhere? I asked casually. He hesitated for only a second before replying. Yeah, just a quick trip with some friends. A trip? You never mentioned that before. It was last minute, he said dismissively. Nothing serious. I studied him, waiting to see if he'd offer the truth, but he didn't. Are you sure it's just your friends? I asked, my voice calm but pointed. His shoulders stiffened. Yes, he said, though his voice lacked conviction. I let the silence stretch, watching him squirm under my gaze. Then I smiled slightly. All right, enjoy your trip. He looked relieved, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath my words. By morning, he was gone, and so were we. I checked my drawer one last time before leaving. Sure enough, the credit card was missing. Without hesitation, I called the company and reported it stolen. It was cancelled immediately. When Gary woke up, his eyes shone with excitement. Mom, today's the day, right? The day we moved to our new house? Any lingering doubts vanished. Yes, sweetheart, I said, taking his hand. Today's the day. And with that, We walked out of the house that no longer felt like home, leaving the past, and Thomas, behind. In that moment, all lingering doubt vanished. Yes, sweetheart, I smiled, reassured by Gary's unwavering excitement. I've canceled the credit card, and now it's time for us to start fresh in our new home. With my brother's help, the move went smoothly. We transported our things to our new house, while Thomas's belongings were sent elsewhere. The next day, as we settled into our new life, a profound sense of peace and relief washed over me. Then, Thomas called. His voice was hesitant, almost pleading. Hello, Cheryl. Well, this trip is turning out to be more expensive than I thought. Could you send me some money? I knew immediately what had happened. He was facing money trouble because I had frozen the credit card. His attempt to avoid admitting what he'd done, using it without permission, was almost laughable. Did you plan for this trip on your own? I asked, keeping my voice calm. I'm sorry, but I can't give you any money. His frustration was palpable. Don't be like that. If you don't help me, I'll be the only one not enjoying this trip, he complained, then quickly corrected himself, realizing his mistake. I mean, you'll be the only one. I wasn't fooled by his panic. You're on vacation, and you want to flaunt the good parts, right? I said, my voice cool. Well, the card you took is no longer valid. You'll have to manage. What are you talking about, Cheryl? What card? He feigned ignorance, but I could hear the tension in his voice. Pretending you don't know won't help, I replied firmly. You're panicking, Thomas. You're saying things that don't even make sense. I don't know anything about a card. Enough, I snapped, my patience running out. I know everything. I know about you and Gloria. Did you really think I had no idea? It's obvious. No, it's not what you think. I'm not cheating, he protested, his voice desperate. I was beyond furious that he was still denying everything. Standing there, with my brother and son next to me, I could no longer contain my anger. Stop making excuses, I seethed. You had a family, and you threw it all away for an affair. And not just that, you've been using someone else's credit card. Do you even realize how despicable your actions are? Cheryl, let's just calm down for a moment. He tried to soothe me, but it was too late. The truth was out, and there was no going back. How can I remain calm when I'm dealing with the person I despise the most? I hissed, my voice sharp and unwavering. Just so you're aware, I have no intention of forgiving you or helping you in any way. And as for her, she can figure things out on her own. Never show your face to Gary and me again. With those final words, I hung up. Moments later, my phone rang again. This time, it was Gloria. Hey, Cheryl, what the hell did you do? She screeched. I smirked, the sarcasm in my voice thick. Ah, Gloria, long time no see. How's your trip going with my husband? Shut up and explain yourself. What are you talking about? She snapped. Oh, don't play dumb. You received a lovely surprise at your house, didn't you? When we moved out, I arranged for all of Thomas's belongings to be sent directly to Gloria's address. Her husband had been the one to receive the delivery, and I made sure to include a letter detailing everything. Her voice wavered, clearly cracking under pressure. This isn't a joke. What have you done? My husband found out, and now he's furious. Well, you brought this upon yourself, I said coolly. You chose to have an affair while married. You were supposed to be my friend. This is a betrayal. You're the worst. I misjudged you, she accused. I let out a short laugh, disbelief creeping into my voice. Excuse me? That's rich coming from you. My so-called best friend sleeping with my husband. How could you expect forgiveness? I didn't mean it seriously. It was just a joke. I would never actually be interested in someone like him. She tried to backpedal, her voice frantic. I don't care if it was a joke or not, I replied coldly. I'm filing for divorce anyway. And yes, you did have an affair. That's a fact. I'll never forgive you. Oh, and I'll be seeking significant compensation. So be prepared. Compensation? What are you talking about? I didn't agree to anything like that, she protested, her voice rising. Well, you're going to hear about it soon enough. It's what you deserve, I said, my tone unwavering. Her breath hitched. I'm a housewife. I can't pay any compensation, she pleaded. Not my problem. Figure it out yourself, or ask your husband, though I doubt he'll be much help. Wait, she started, but I ended the call and promptly blocked her number. Later, I contacted my lawyer to finalize the divorce, making sure to pursue compensation from both Thomas and Gloria, as well as child support and repayment for the unauthorized credit card charges. The financial strain proved too much for Gloria's marriage. After settling the compensation, her husband filed for divorce. She found herself without a home and eventually sought refuge with her parents, only to be turned away when they, too, were disappointed in her actions. With nowhere else to turn, she now lives where she works, taking up night shifts at a local bar. As for Thomas, he tried to turn to Gloria for comfort, but overwhelmed by her own crisis and angered by his role in ruining her marriage, she ended things between them. Now, he juggles several part-time jobs, struggling to make ends meet. His prolonged period of unemployment has made it difficult for him to secure stable work. Should he fall behind on alimony or child support, I am fully prepared to take legal action to ensure Gary is provided for. As for me, life has settled into a peaceful rhythm. In our new home, Gary is growing up fast, and each day brings new joys and adventures. My primary focus is providing him with all the love and stability he needs, ensuring he never has to face the turmoil we've been through again. Our days are brighter now, and I'm committed to making sure they stay that way.